Trump cancels vacation to Mar-a-Lago for the holidays to put the American people first. While Melania, Barron and other members of the Trump family will be heading to Mar-a-Lago for the holidays, President Trump is staying behind. He explained his decision to do this on Twitter. "Some of the many bills that I am signing in the Oval Office right now. Canceled my trip on Air Force One to Florida while we wait to see if the Democrats will help us to protect America's southern border," President Trump tweeted, announcing his decision to stay behind in D.C. from ABC 11. The federal government was careening toward a partial shutdown Friday after President Donald Trump's quest for a border wall left Congress without a clear plan to keep the government running past a midnight deadline. The Senate was being called back to session to consider a package approved by House Republicans late Thursday that includes the $5.7 billion Trump wants for the border with Mexico. It is almost certain to be rejected by the Senate. Senators already passed their own bipartisan package earlier in the week to keep the government running with border security at existing levels, $1.3 billion, but no money for the wall. Both bills would extend funding through February 8. The White House said Trump will not travel to Florida on Friday as planned for the Christmas holiday if the government is shutting down. More than 800,000 federal workers will be facing furloughs or forced to work without pay if a resolution is not reached before funding expires at midnight Friday. The president's been clear from the beginning, he wants something that gives border security and he's not going to sign something that doesn't have that, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders told reporters. At issue is funding for 9 of 15 cabinet-level departments and dozens of agencies, including the Departments of Homeland Security, Transportation, Interior, Agriculture, State, and Justice, as well as National Parks and Forests. Many agencies, including the Pentagon and the Departments of Veterans Affairs and Health and Human Services, are funded for the year and would continue to operate as usual. The U.S. Postal Service, busy delivering packages for the holiday season, would not be affected by any government shutdown because it's an independent agency. The shutdown crisis could be one of the final acts of the House GOP majority before relinquishing control to Democrats in January. Congress had been on track to fund the government but lurched when Trump, after a rare lashing from conservative supporters, declared Thursday he would not sign a bill without the funding. Conservatives want to keep fighting. They warned that caving on Trump's repeated wall promises could hurt his 2020 re-election chances, and other Republicans as well. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, warned senators they may need to return to Washington for a vote Friday. Many senators already left town for the holidays. Now we find compromise, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, said. We have time right now to get it done. Late Thursday, the GOP-led House voted largely along party lines, 217-185, to attach the border wall money to the Senate's bill after GOP leaders framed the vote as a slapback to Nancy Pelosi. She is poised to become House Speaker on January 3 and had warned Trump in a televised Oval Office meeting last week that he wouldn't have the votes for the wall. House Republicans also tacked on nearly $8 billion in disaster aid for coastal hurricanes and California wildfires. Some Republican senators cheered on the House, but prospects in the Senate are grim amid strong opposition from Democrats. Even though Republicans have a slim majority, 60 votes are needed to approve the bill there. One possibility Friday is that the Senate strips the border wall out of the bill but keeps the disaster funds and sends it back to the House. House lawmakers said they were being told to stay in town for more possible votes. With Pelosi's backing, the Senate-passed bill likely has enough support for House approval with votes mostly from Democratic lawmakers, who are still the minority, and some Republicans. Others were not so sure. I don't see how we avoid a shutdown, said retiring Representative Dennis Ross, Republican Florida. Representative Mark Meadows, RNC, the chairman of the Conservative Freedom Caucus, said he was not convinced after a White House meeting with GOP leaders that Trump would sign the Senate bill. I looked him in the eyes today, and he was serious about not folding without a fight, Meadows said. Trump's sudden rejection of the Senate-approved legislation, after days of mixed messages, sent Republican leaders scrambling for options days before Christmas. House Speaker Paul Ryan, exiting the hastily called meeting with Trump at the White House, said Thursday, "We're going to go back and work on adding border security to this, also keeping the government open, because we do want to see an agreement." By afternoon, Trump shifted his terminology, saying he's not necessarily demanding a border wall but steel slats, which is similar to the border security fencing already provided for in the bill. "We don't use the word wall necessarily, but it has to be something special to do the job," Trump said at a farm bill signing at the White House. The nuance could provide Trump a way to try to proclaim victory since the Senate bill includes money for fencing, but not the wall. Democratic leaders have made clear they will not budge on their opposition to the border wall that Trump campaigned on, saying Mexico would pay for it. Mexico has refused. The Trump temper tantrum will shut down the government, but it will not get him his wall, said Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.